Welcome back with Happy Chappy. So, this is breaking out of the matrix. And I don't want you to think of other people, or at least try not to, and keep to the script that I'm giving you. Just to have a clear view, and then you can go back to what you know and put it all together in how you see it. But to have a clear view in what I'm giving you and what the matrix is and how it affects you, or how you adapt to that, and how you can break free from it. And we want to look at it as in the matrix is you. You are the matrix. And in that matrix, you create a way to see everything outside of you and view it and feel it about it in a certain way that will direct you to do something more outside of you, in how you would react to something. And so you're bouncing here, there, and everywhere around you because you're feeling a certain way to it. But you're the one that controls that matrix by how you're seeing it and how you're feeling. Seeing it by how you're thinking about what you're seeing. And then you're feeling it towards that you see by how you're thinking. It's not just what you see and you feel a certain way towards it, but you think about it in a certain way, to feel a certain way about it. And so you're the controller of the matrix. You are the matrix. You control all out here by controlling what's in here. And so what you see is people, now this isn't right or wrong, it's just different people see things in different ways. And it's something that I've even thought of myself, going away from the whole mechanical side of things. As you would see, computers, mobiles, different devices like that. But you're never getting away from the matrix. You can go out into a field and have none of them devices. But you're the device that controls all out here. And so you never step out of the matrix that you are. You still run by that matrix. Because it's a system. You're a system. And so you never truly leave it. Is that beneficial to you? Yes, it is, because you can reflect on who you are as the matrix, and you get to see how you operate to things outside of you. You get to see what is beneficial to you, and not just something that is flashy that you see that catches your attention and so draws you to it like a magnet. And so then you have a want for it, but not necessarily a need for it. So, in a way, when we step away from these devices, we get that. Is it the devices' fault? No, it's the programming behind the devices, in the advertisements, and taking us away from what we decide to do. So if you go to a computer or a phone or whatever, a device of some sort to do something, you aren't long into using the device, unless it's a job that you're bound to. But if you're at the device for at least a couple of minutes, you're more than likely going to distract yourself by different things that you can do on that device. And so you're taken away from what you intended to do in the first place. Or maybe you do what you were intended to do, and it was something small and short, but you last longer on the device than you intend it to be. And so then the device is in control of you and showing you more and more and making you think about more and more on the device, because you're using the device of things to do on the device. So you're taken away by the device and you forget that you're the device that controls all devices outside of you. Yet you give away your power to the devices. So breaking the patterns is first recognizing them within you. No matter what you do, you must reflect back at you. Because if you don't reflect back at you, you can say you know what you're doing and that you've control of your life and that you're happy this and happy that. But you're not. No matter what you say, it's a lie. You lie to yourself. You cover up who you are underneath all this here. Because you're using out here to feel. And so you're not truly feeling about what's right in here. You're feeling about how the power is out here. How you're taken away from your power. So you're not in your power. So you can't be honest to yourself if you are putting it out here. And that's factual. It is how you are. If you're placing your attention out here for emotional attachment to something, to like a device, in that space of time that you're using that device, I'm not saying all the time, but the majority of life is what we do is give our power to the things outside of us, like a mobile phone. And so we're caught up in the matrix. And as we all know, the matrix is everywhere around us. We are the matrix. And how we feel, how we think, how we act towards everything. But yet, we're the one who has the choices, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions. And it all comes from us. And so, once we were able to reflect on ourselves, we don't necessarily have to take ourselves away from everything. Although that could be good for us if we find it difficult to reflect on ourselves. In some cases, you might find this is the best thing to do. And so, if it is too much of a distraction for you, caught up with all the devices, whatever, this is possibly the best thing to do. But if you're in control of who you are and you're aware of reflection and understanding the patterns that you're in, and so obviously we have then patterns of going to sleep at nighttime, getting up in the morning, maybe a job you go to certain hours, you probably have specific times to eat, you probably like to do something on the weekends, and it becomes a pattern. Now, the more you go deeper and deeper into these patterns, into who you are, you get to see how that's affecting your life. You get to see how to bring new patterns in. You also get to see how you can break patterns if you're spending too much time on something that you like to do, but you know it's not any benefit to you. And so, even though you see things that maybe you don't like to do, but you would like to do because you would see it beneficial to you, you might find that when you're looking at your patterns, if you are able to cut them out and place new patterns in. Now, when I say place new patterns in, because you're not going to like doing it, but you know it's beneficial to you, the intention is to add something small. Think of it like a jigsaw. You have 10,000 pieces of a jigsaw. you have one object, you've one thing to do every day. That's objective. Couldn't get that out. And your objective is to add one piece every day to the jigsaw. You don't have to do it all together. It's just one piece every day. Probably something you don't like doing, for example. Just say it is. Maybe you do like to do it. And so what you're doing is you've already looked at the patterns. You've placed this somewhere within the patterns that makes you who you are. Because you're just a pattern of patterns built within you in a frequency, a vibration that you are. And so out of all that, you do specific things at certain times, you do things regular. You are a program of programs that you've created and how you've sensed everything out here. And so now that you've looked into the depths of the system, the computer system, you go into a file that you've put into a program, a pattern. And you look at that and you see it as something that is not beneficial to you, but it's something that you enjoy doing. But you're able to see that if you keep doing this, it's taking away so much of your life in that pattern. And you put it into every day. So even though you do this with multiple patterns. So it's not just one pattern that you've pulled out of a file and decided, right, I'm not doing that anymore. No, you keep doing it. What you're going to do is just add a new pattern into it. So every time you can do it, you're going to see another pattern that you can do just as well as doing this pattern that you've always done and enjoyed to do. You're not taking it away. You're just cutting it down a wee bit. Just a small bit. To place one piece of the jigsaw together. And each and every day that you do this and add a new piece to the jigsaw, you grow in who you are. Now, try not to go too complex into this because nothing is really complex. It's pretty simple if we keep it simple. And so what you're doing is growing a new pattern. Set an intention to do this. And the more that you keep to that, the more you're growing the pattern. Now, this is a vibrational frequency that you're growing inside your body. And it becomes a memory. And the more you do it, the more you'll add to it. Before you know it, instead of just putting one piece to the jigsaw, you're putting multiple pieces. And then you're making many jigsaws. And this, of course, is if it's beneficial to you. If you find some kind of a benefit to it. If it's not beneficial to you, then you need to be analysing that pattern. So is jigsaw beneficial to you? Probably not. So even though you enjoy it, now that you've set up this new pattern, what you're going to do is analyse that. While you've never stopped analysing all the other patterns that makes you who you are. And so even though you're adding something new to the system of you, you're learning something more about you. And while you're learning something more about you, you're also creating new patterns, but you're breaking them as well. And when you learn to break them and create new patterns, you can learn to go with your feeling, your gut, your spirit, your soul in living in life, in the patterns that you go through each and every day. And so instead of thinking about it, you're going to feel about it. And so you may be intending to go somewhere. But you get this feeling in the pit of your stomach that it just doesn't feel right. Now, you feel good, you feel fine, but when the journey comes up, or any speaking of the journey or thought, or that frequency, that vibration to go in this journey, you're feeling ill. That's where you know to go with your feeling. And so what you will see is, this could have been a regular thing. You've went to the beach every Saturday, say. And so this one Saturday, you're feeling good. You're feeling fit, healthy. You've had your breakfast, you're ready to go. And all of a sudden you feel that sickly feeling in the stomach, in the pit of the stomach. Now, it may not be the stomach, it could be somewhere else, you're just not feeling it. This is a moment where you stop. This is the moment you cut off the pattern. No matter how much you want to go or do whatever, you have to be disciplined to your truth by how you're feeling. This has come about to tell you it's not the time now to go to do this pattern. And so you're feeling sick. And this is all through vibration with what's out there and what's within here, and how we communicate to the universe that surrounds us by the universe that's within us. And so when we're aware of how we're feeling and recognize this, we are following the flow of the universe. It has given us a signal to let us know that it's not that time. It's not that time to go with our pattern. And of course, we are the ones that has that choice. Now we have the choice to think about the pattern that attracts us and how we feel through our memory, to go with that because it's something that we enjoy. Or we have that knowing of how to feel by that illness that we feel about going. And so we can either go with what we've been told by Source and how the flow of nature has let us know in who we are as a nature, as the flow of nature flows through with us in our creation that we are, and lets us know by how we feel. Or we can go by the feelings that we've created, in the patterns that we created, in who we be as a pattern of vibration and frequency. Now, we've got that choice to go with how we think and feel, or to go with the feeling that brings about a thought. You see, they're both the same, but they both come in different directions. One comes from a feeling from a thought, and the other comes from a thought from a feeling. And that's just what we must be aware of, because when we get the thought from a feeling, it's coming from Source. And so it's showing us a direction to go in that is not normally a pattern that we go in by our choice of thought to feeling. And so when we do this, what you will find is we're breaking from the matrix. We're not following the patterns in the matrix that is made for us. We're following the pattern that's made by the Creator, by nature, the flow of creation within who we are. And so in that way, you're interacting with the matrix because no matter what you do, you're a part of it by your senses and how you feel to everything. But by your knowing in what way you feel. Is it coming from thoughts, or are you bringing thought about by feeling? And so when you recognize this, you can interact with the matrix, but you could also step out of it and flow with nature in the direction that it shows you to go. or not to go in this case. And so, of course, this is just through my own experience, and what I've found is that it keeps you away from things that you may have run into that you didn't need to run into. And sometimes you'll be directed, and it's not always seen as in a sickly way or whatever. You could see something that would be fearful and made to think that don't go that way. That's scary. Well, maybe it's not. How do you really feel about that? Is it just an illusion? As everything is. And so, if you can overpower that in how you're thinking, then you will feel in that vibration, and you will overpower what's out here by what's in here, which is always what is happening anyway. Because consciously, that flows through you. You are the breath that creates light and how you see things to be. And so, if you're not seeing it in a high vibrational way, it won't be in a high vibrational way. It'll be in a low. And so, if you're feeling fear, then your energy is going to be low. And the chances of it becoming something fearful is going to be high in a low. Because you're feeling that way. And so, if you're feeling high about it in the positive way, that you're feeling good, that you're thinking good, then it can't be anything but good. Because you're overpowering it. And now, of course, this is just how I feel and see things to be. But the worst thing that I could see that could happen to me is that, well, I die. But I'm not the body. So it's irrelevant to me. My life will be whatever it'll be. And I'll get to see whatever I'm meant to see. I will get to have whatever I'm meant to have. And along that path, I will enjoy every moment that I be in who I be. And if there's something more that I want to see, I will make my step to make a new pattern in who I be. So I can get to see and create that something more in who I be. So I can be something more that I see outside of me of who I be than who I am. Yet, I'm never what you see myself to be, or I am not what I see myself to be as a physical being, because I know deep within me and around me that I am the breath that flows through me and the light that comes from that. I'm not the body, as this is just collapsed energy brought into vibration and frequency. So I can see something to be. So I can walk in a physical form in what I call reality. Well, it's just collapsed energy into shape. And because I can sense, I can feel energy if it's compacted or if it's not, it's just movable, like the air or water if you were swimming, that's what I was thinking of. Then it will move, it will shift for me. But when I know what I am, and I know it's just collapsed energy, I know anything can shift for me. That it's just collapsed energy in how I view it to be. And so, as the power of consciousness, then there's no solidness. There's nothing that's solid. Nothing whatsoever. No matter how solid you think it is as a body, it's not solid. And if you looked into the depths of it deep enough, you would see that too. And so, as much as we see things as physical objects and energies collapsed into a shape, then that is because we hold it within us to see it and for it to be in that way. And so it is in that way. But if we didn't know or see or have any thoughts of any beliefs of that object, but came came into an awareness of an object that was put beside us. So as I look at a flower pot, if that flower pot was put beside us, now, the flower pot was there before we were there. So we arrived when the flower pot was there. There was no people about. But the people that created the flower pot and everybody that knows about the flower pot consciously left the flower pot there. So it became a physical object. Now, as we arrive into the world, and don't think of parents and just say you're dropped here into the body and you were consciousness. So you just arrived and you're sitting there and you don't see this flower pot because when you come into the world you're just seeing light. But there's a flower pot there. If somebody else had come to see you, they would see the flower pot. Even though you would not see the flower pot, they would see the flower pot because they believe it. And so, with all their beliefs of all of consciousness out there other than you, that you've not come into contact with, remember, just the flower pot has. What you would find is, through time, if you were left alone and you were able to survive, obviously, and within, I think I said 6 months before, I think it's 6 weeks before you can actually see into frames, into shape, into form. What you would see is the light would collapse through consciousness, conscious awareness of who you are or what this is. Because what you would find is there's a vibration outside of you. Other than just the light that has been left by the consciousnesses of everybody else in the flower pot. Even though you're not seeing no flower pot, in light, that energy where the flower pot is holding a different power of energy. It's more compact. And so within 6 weeks, you've been feeling this vibration is different than all else that's around you. And so you start to see the shape of it. You start to sense it. Before you know it, you're seeing the flower pot, the shape, the colour. You're able to touch it and feel it. Because your consciousness is linked to everybody else's consciousness. And it's vibrating off the flower pot through the consciousness of everyone, including you. But because you're in the source of light, you're unable to see it at first. Until you've programmed yourself in the physical being that you have now created in the light, the form that you are, the light being has now become a part of darkness because you became physical form. Because you've been dropped here, you're going to see from the light. But as you see from the light in a dark world, what you're doing is you're being influenced by the darkness, which is more of a condensed energy to bring shape. And so it's a lower vibration. And in that lower vibration, you're getting to see a flower pot. Or not at first, you're seeing it in light, but you're sensing it. You're sensing there's a difference in the energy force. And you're sensing it about yourself. Because you're now the light in the dark. And so within them 6 weeks, you get to start to see the colour, the shape of the flower pot. Because of the vibration, the frequency that is flowing through it is more condensed than the actual light. It's the light and the dark brought together. A combination, like the yin and yang. And so are you. You are the light that comes into the physical body. And so you brought the light into the darkness. And the more that we travel through in this world, the more darkness that we travel into. And so we start becoming more of the darkness. And before you know it, we're stuck in the matrix. And we're looking to find our way out, back to the light, by switching on the light bulb that's within us, by reflecting in who we are and how we've become who we are, in the patterns that we create in who we are, by how we feel in who we are. And the more that we reflect back at who we are, the more that we get to see the truth in who we be. And so then, when we can learn to go off our feelings to our thoughts and not our thoughts to our feelings, we can get to see. Obviously, you can go both ways, but when we're going off the feelings more than the thoughts, our feelings to the thoughts, when we get them instant feelings, to go with that, we're going with source, the light that's within us, letting us know it's safer to do it this way. It's not so much as safe or unsafe, it's more of following, having faith in all of creation, in all of source, in all of God, whatever you want to name it, all of the light. And through that, by having faith in the light that's showing you from within, then you'll be guided into the right places at the right time for the right things that's for you. And the more you can see it, the more you will enjoy who you are, because you will find that you're staying in your truth and you're not being manipulated by everything out here. As I say, of course, this is just my way of thinking and feeling and how I've seen things from the past to now, and probably just gain more on that and see it in the same way and feel it in the same way as I've always done. But just growing more in who I am as the light into the body and not the body into the light. Of course, once again, it's just my view. You'll have your own. But from what you know and from what I've told you, you can put that together and make something of it for you. And hopefully it'll help you find the light within you so you can view it in how you're meant to see it. And whatever way you're seeing it right now will be the way for you. If you're not seeing it in a way that is beneficial for you, then it wasn't for you. This is Happy Chappa. Love and peace.